Hey, everybody. Welcome back to another episode of the Women's Fittest podcast. My guest today is IFBB pro Ashton Penney. Ashton is a wellness pro. We're super excited to have you on. Thanks for coming on. How are you?
I'm good. How are you? Long
Good.
time planning this.
I know, right? We had some technical difficulties. We had a few errors with trying to get you scheduled, but I'm so glad that you're here.
Me too, finally.
Yeah. Where are you located right now?
Right now I'm in Dallas, Texas. This is where I live. And then I'm a flight attendant. So that was part of our technical difficulties because I'm all over all the time.
Were you is this with like sponsorships? Were you flying, or is it just for pleasure?
Oh no, I'm a flight attendant. So for work, we travel a lot.
Oh, nice. I know. I remember you said you were flying back from is it Tulum?
Tulum. That was a couple weeks ago. Yeah, we did Tulum. And then for about the last 11 days straight, we've just been like all over flying. Today's my first day off, so I'm super happy.
Nice. So sidebar from fitness stuff, but how were things like during lockdown and stuff? How have things changed since COVID?
Well, the beginning of COVID, a lot of the flight attendants got laid off. We got furloughed. It's just where you're technically laid off, but they'll bring you back. And so it was a mess for everybody. And during that time, I was also doing training for flight school because I want to be a pilot. And that got delayed. And just, it was a whole mess for everybody. So it put a lot of things on hold.
So are you going to go to flight school? Are you going?
Yeah, I'm planning to restart in January, hopefully. Get everything back rolling. And I think it'll take about a year and I should be good to go.
How old are you?
I'm 25.
Nice. That's really awesome. So usually I talk about athletic background and what you did as a child as far as sports go to kind of lead into what got you into bodybuilding. So can you tell us a little bit about your background?
So from junior high until college, I did track. I mostly did hurdles and some of the relays and then pole vault, randomly pole vault. But I think that kind of set me up a lot for wellness because a lot of the wellness girls came from volleyball or track or something that was like more leg dominant. Yeah. And so definitely set my like platform of muscle for lower body, I guess.
Yeah, very cool. So were you weight training at the time too? Did you start doing that in high school or did that come later?
Yeah, I was that weird girl that was running track and then also trying to squat more than all the guys. So that helped a lot with the leg development. And before we would go to the track, we'd always have like 30, 45 minutes of lifting. And in that time, like all the track girls are trying to outlift the guys at our high school. So it was always funny.
Where did you go to high school?
Martin High School in Arlington.
Okay.
Arlington, Texas.
I feel like it's so much different. I feel like gym class when I was in school, like we didn't have all the weight training and stuff like that. Was that like a program in your school? Or I mean, you had a good weight room apparently?
We had an amazing weight room. And then a lot of the coaches at Martin High School, they were just phenomenal. They wanted us to succeed in everything. So they really set up the baseline for us to develop into the sport and really set us up for success. Like we had a weightlifting coach. We had a lot of the football coaches actually helped with track too. So they were already all about the weights and most of our coaches were in college football too. So they knew how to, I guess, weightlift and do all the things necessary to be successful in the sports.
That's so cool. So you like learned proper form and like proper training and all that stuff right out of high school.
Pretty proper. I mean, there were a few things that I changed as I started weightlifting for bodybuilding because it's a little bit different than just athletic training, I guess. Like you want to have pretty muscle, not just push as much as you possibly can.
Yeah, absolutely. Difference between strength and like conditioning and then the hypertrophy aspect that you're kind of going through now. So I think that's amazing. I feel like more schools should have stuff like that because a lot of kids, well, I mean, going into the gym, you look around, a lot of people don't know how to use proper form and they don't know what they're doing. That base in high school would be so beneficial.
I agree. I think it helps keep the kids out of trouble too, because we were always focused on our goals for the sport and our next track meet, and we didn't really have time to goof off and do crazy stuff.
Yeah, absolutely. Oh, so cool. So So you started, so how did that work out? You kind of learned some stuff in high school, and then were you going to college, or what got you into thinking about doing bodybuilding competitions?
Well, so I did track in college, and then I took a year off to go to American because I always wanted to travel the world. And I was like, okay, this is a perfect opportunity. I'll get paid. I'll get to travel to all these countries. So I'm going to take a break. And once you don't really go to the Olympics for a track, there's not really much you can do with it after college. So I was like, okay, I need to find something else competitive. So, of course, there's no adult track teams. So I found bodybuilding because there were a lot of girls on Instagram that I looked up to. Like Hattie Boyle was one of the very first girls that I looked up to. She was in WBFF, but her body was just amazing. And I was like, okay, could I ever get to this point? I was like, maybe, maybe not. I was like, but I mean, might as well start now and see instead of putting it off. So I started training for bodybuilding in that, and I did my first bikini show in 2019. And my critique from that was to try wellness the next year. So it was just the perfect lineup to get into wellness.
So when you were getting ready for your first show, how long were you like actually training, in a like a muscle building style before you stepped on stage?
About 6 months.
Really?
I was like, okay, I want to do a show. Let's get ready. And then I was like, okay, I just want to prep already. So I kind of fast forwarded it and rushed it a little bit, but it was okay.
You had a pretty decent base of muscle, to start with, right? Like most people you would say wouldn't just be able to diet into a show and do well, but you had that muscle base before you went in.
Yeah, before I decided on the bodybuilding show, I always worked out in the gym anyways because I just enjoyed it. So it wasn't that big of a change. It was just more structured and more, okay, my goal is this. So start training for this.
Yeah, very cool. So how much time between your first bikini competition? So the next time you stepped on stage, you did wellness?
I did. It was about a year because I did my first bikini show the summer of 2019. And then my first wellness show was, I think it was September of 2020.
Okay. So you were, so that was during COVID. That was during lockdown.
Yeah. It was during that whole prep because we started prepping back in January. And so it was like, okay, we're prepping. Okay, pause. We're not anymore. The show canceled. Okay, start again. Maybe this will work. Nope, it canceled again. So it was just on and off of prep like all year long. So I was so thankful when the show actually finally happened.
Yeah. So, so how did that go for you?
It was the Branch Warren show, and it went awesome. Like my experience in wellness compared to bikini was obviously much better because my body was more, I guess, developed for wellness based on my background. Yeah. And I won the overall at that. And then me and my coach, Jonathan Withers, we started planning for nationals after that.
Okay. So how long was that before? So that was in September, and then nationals for November. Was that nationals or?
No, I did nationals in, when was it? June. It was the junior nationals, NPC junior nationals.
Okay. Is that
we took a little bit of a break to build a little bit more, and then we went into it.
Is that where you got your pro card?
It is, yes.
Yes. So what was that like? Were you shocked, or were you just like, this was my goal, this is what I'm doing?
I mean, I was shocked on stage whenever they're calling the girls out for the trophies and everything. They said my name, and I was like, okay, it's me. Go ahead. And so it was really fun. I thought there would be more, I guess, drama around wellness and the girls on the stage and stuff because we're going for our pro cards. But all the girls at the show were super sweet, super nice. So I was like, okay, this is what I want to do. Like, everybody's supportive and it's fun, and I can actually train to be how I want to look myself instead of holding back for the other divisions. So it was just perfect after that.
Yeah. Did you have an experience like that with bikini, that the girls were a little bit less supportive, or you just?
No, they weren't less supportive. Like all of the competitors in NPC and IFBB, they're very supportive. It's just, I thought maybe since we're all competing for the pro card and everybody's always like hyping up the pro card and everything, I thought there'd be a little bit more cattiness, but there wasn't.
Yeah. I think that especially amongst the individual divisions, there's a lot of camaraderie with the girls.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Like all the girls within wellness, we have like group chats. We're always supporting each other on Instagram. It's just like, you can't get away from them, but it's a good thing.
That's awesome.
Mhm.
How tall are you? Are you a shorty?
I am. I'm 5'3" and a quarter. The quarter is important, but yeah, I'm in the class B.
Okay. Yeah, you're kind of tall for wellness. I feel like you're like one of the taller
Mhm.
wellness girls that I've
I'm
talked to.
about like in the middle. It's weird. A lot of the wellness girls are shorter, but I guess it works more for the structure of wellness because like you look bigger whenever you're shorter.
Yeah.
So it
Yeah,
works.
absolutely. Muscles have, they just kind of bulge. There's like you have less to fill out. So that's really
Mhm.
cool.
I
Yeah.
think Fran and Issa, the first and second place at the Olympia, I think they're both. I know Issa is very short. I think she's like 5'1", and
Yeah.
then I think Fran was like 5'2", 5'3".
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. I think it's awesome. It's a beautiful division. Yeah, and it's allowed a lot of girls to come in and compete because like you said, trying to downsize in order to fit a category, that sucks because nobody wants to do less in the gym, you
Oh
know?
no, not at all. Like
Yeah.
I was working my shoulders so much because I never did upper body for like training before bikini. So I was trying to get my shoulders bigger, and then we didn't do legs at all. And I was like, this is miserable. Like I just want to go do legs. I didn't do glutes, like nothing lower body for I think 3 or 4 months straight. And I was like, okay, let's get this show over with so I can get back to my life.
Yeah, you definitely have to love it. So so what's the plan? What's next?
So I think I'm gonna take all of next year off, or not all of next year. I want to compete towards the fall. And then over that time, I just need to work on my glutes and my legs, bring up more size. And really that's all our goal is right now, just bringing on more size because a lot of the girls in the pro division, they have a lot of size. And then this year with Brazil opening up more, because I think COVID's gonna lift a lot of the travel restrictions. The girls in Brazil are nuts. Like their lower body development is like through the roof. So I'm like, okay, I need to hurry. I need to get more size on like immediately before they get here. So one, because this year a lot of the Brazilians did get over, but a lot of the girls were kind of limited. Like Michelle, what is her last name? One of the girls that missed the Olympics. She was amazing, but she didn't make it because of the travel restrictions. So I think a lot of the Brazilian girls are going to have more opportunity to come over here this year. And that's when a lot of the Americans are going to have to really hunker down and like get some leg development and hurry up to catch up with them because they've been doing wellness for years over in Brazil.
Yeah, that's just been their style of that's how they like their women.
Oh yeah, the women over there lift more than a lot of the men. I'm like, oh my goodness.
Yeah, it's funny when people describe wellness, they're like, this is like it's like bikini except a little bit bigger. But I'm like, no, these women are jacked from the waist down. Like it's not even,
Absolutely correct.
yeah,
Like a lot of people think just having a bigger lower body is okay and you'll make it. Not necessarily saying, I'm just saying the fat percentage, they think that you can have a higher body fat because
yeah,
of wellness. And it's not that at all. Like you see these girls walking on stage and their glutes don't move, they don't jiggle when they're walking. Like they're still hard, super, super hard. It's just compact muscle all the way down.
yeah, absolutely. I know. I think that maybe if you're predisposed, or like you said, you have a background where you were doing a lot of like jumping or gymnastics, you know, track, obviously, you have built that base for the muscle. And so it grows a lot easier. And if you're lower body dominant, you might be more suited. But yeah, the fat can't be there. It can't really for any of the divisions.
Because you're still supposed to have the same upper body shreddedness, I guess, as bikini. And you can't just have one area of your body to be leaner than the rest. So it has to be all the way over, or else a lot of the girls, they start prepping and they lose all the size in their legs. And that kind of shows you know you need more development. You need to work a little bit longer so you can fit the division.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely.
But
Um,
I think a lot of the girls think that they're not able to fit the division if they're not already developed, which is completely untrue because there have been figure girls transferring over, there's been bikini girls transferring over to wellness.
yeah.
It's just you have to change your training style and really do like 2 to 3 days of leg work each week.
Yeah. Well, let's talk about that a little bit. Let's talk about your training. So is that kind of what your split looks like? What does it look like?
So my split right now is Monday and Fridays are hammies and glutes, and then Tuesday and Thursday. So Thursday is back and biceps, and then Thursday is shoulders and triceps, and then quad day is Wednesday. kind of like jumped all over there. But yeah, so I have 3 leg days and then 2 upper body days. But I think I'm going to maybe drop down to 1 upper body day because my upper body is definitely more developed than a lot of the girls that won the top 5 in the Olympia. So that kind of shows me that I need to pull back on that a little bit.
Yeah, plus it'll give you a day to recover and you'll be able to push more for your leg days, I think, too.
Absolutely, because even now, when I train, I've been kind of panicky, like, okay, how am I going to fit this set in? How am I going to fit this area of the body work in? So this kind of gives me like a little breather room too.
Is your coach designing your training for you and monitoring that, or is this kind of your putting stuff together?
So I mostly do all my training splits myself, but I kind of take tidbits from other people and I ask them for their opinions, and I kind of working with other people and learning. Like Casey, she was in the Olympia. She helped me a lot with my quads and what's it called, hamstring development. And then also Bryant, he's been helping me a lot. That's one of the big wellness coaches right now. And we're kind of just, it's kind of like learning right now because the division is so new. So I'm trying to take and learn from each person.
So what is like, are you walking into the gym with like an idea of what you're doing for your workouts, or do you kind of have some exercises for that day? Is it very structured or is it a little bit more loose?
It used to be more loose. Like last year when I was prepping for my first wellness show, I kind of went in and I was like, okay, I have to hit quads. Let me think of some quad exercises. But now, since I'm being a lot more serious, I have every exercise and the rep ranges and everything laid out. So I can just follow along. So for leg days, I'll have probably like 3 to 4 for quads, and then 3 to 4 for hammies on hammy day, just trying to split it up and make it even.
Yeah. What are some of what does a quad day look like for you?
So quad day is, I start with leg extensions, and Bryant has me doing insane amount of reps. Like I've never done this many reps, but it's helping a lot. And so I start with 4 sets of 50 reps on the leg extension, which before I would do maybe 15, 20, but now I'm just like dying. And then after that, you'll do like lunges or what else is on the plan? Sissy squats, and then also a lot more wide based squats for hammy day, and then really close squats for what's it called? Quad day, sorry. Yeah.
Very cool. Are you hack squatting at all?
Yeah, we do hack squats too. Just the gym I've been training at now doesn't have a hack squat machine. So I'm moving to Miami actually, hopefully within the next few months, like spending more time over there. So once I get over there, I'm sure all the gyms are going to be a whole nother level because there's a lot of wellness girls down there already.
Yeah, for sure. I know Florida is killing it for bodybuilding. A lot of people are moving there. So, but
yeah.
Texas is doing great though too. You guys are like leading the United States with being open and
I think it's between Texas and Florida, we're the most open states. So everybody's like, okay, put your show here. Okay, wait, no, do one in Florida. Okay, back to Texas. So it's been just back and forth like all year round.
Are you moving because of work reasons, or because you want to be, what's the reason for the move?
It's mostly because of bodybuilding. Like we have a base down there for American, but I'm not sure if I'm going to switch my bases or not yet from DFW. Okay. But the fact that there's so many people from bodybuilding down there, I think it'll be a better environment to encourage me and motivate me. And then also I want to start flight school down there. So there's a lot of reasons. I used to do fight sports down there with Brazilian jiu-jitsu. So I want to do that again, which my coach probably is not going to like, but you're just random all over the place.
That's very cool. What does your family think about all this?
They're super supportive. Like my dad didn't really understand the whole bodybuilding thing until this year. He went to the first my national show and he about cried when I got my pro card. I was like, Dad, calm down, it's okay. And so now every single time I have a show, he wants to come, and he gets more excited about the shows than I do, honestly. He's like, okay, we got this, Ashley. I'm like, okay, calm down, Dad.
That's so funny. That's really, really great. I love it. Do you have siblings?
I do. I have 6 actually. We have a whole bunch of us. My oldest sister, she is 29 and she just had a baby. So she has 2 kids now. And
Okay.
then my younger siblings, there's like a pretty good gap. My oldest sister, that's on the younger side, she is 16. And then the youngest one is, this is bad, I think he's 4. There's just too many to keep up with. But his name is Cooper. He's the youngest one right now.
Wow, that's awesome. You said right now, are they still going for more here?
You never know, because honestly, they just keep popping them out. So I'm just like, when's it going to be another one?
Wow, that's crazy. That's crazy. So,
Mhm.
oh, so cool. Well, yeah, I'm like super excited for you. So obviously the goal is the Olympia, right?
Absolutely. I
Yeah.
think my goal I have set now is to make it to the Olympia this year, and then from there just grow and grow and get to where I hopefully get Miss Olympia one day.
Yeah.
These
Yeah.
Brazilian girls though, they're holding the spots down, so I'm gonna have to work pretty hard.
Maybe you'll end up training in Brazil. You know, like how the guys go to Kuwait, you know, to
Uh-huh.
train. Yeah. Maybe like the girls will end up going to Brazil to do some training down there or something.
Oh, that would be a dream. I hope hopefully. I need to learn some Portuguese before that though.
Yeah, something. You know, it's funny though, because some of the women that I know, like Karina, who was a Karina Nascimento, and Evie Hine, they came from Brazil and now they're in Florida. So I mean, maybe Florida is the place to go. So
Yeah, a lot of the Brazilian girls are coming to Florida, or whenever they're going to shows, they stop in they stop in Florida first.
yeah,
So it's gonna be interesting to see who all lives in Florida within the next year.
nice. So can we talk about your diet a little bit, your off-season diet?
hmm
Yeah. So is it pretty strict or are you a little bit more open? How was that?
Uh, you're putting me on the spot. So my off-season diet, like it's supposed to be a little bit more structured, obviously, but I'm a queen of cheat meals. So when there's snacks, I snack and all that. But as it gets closer to the show, I'm obviously gonna bring it in. But right now, I kind of just live life and I try not to get like too out of hand, so I don't get too up there before we start cutting down because it'll make it more difficult. But I kind of have a structured plan. I still have like 5 to 6 meals a day, and then I switch out maybe like 1 or 2 right now for more things that I want, obviously. But
Yeah.
I think by the time like January starts, then it'll be like more structured for sure because I'm going like 100% then because I think in like 4 more weeks I have a breast augmentation appointment. So after that, I have to take a few weeks off and then we'll go into the super hard off season.
Okay. Do you have implants now or are you getting them?
No, I'm getting them. This will be the first time.
Okay. All right.
I'm super excited. Just saying. I've been annoying everybody talking about it. I'm like, okay, I want them now. I was calling like 4 or 5 doctors and I was like, can we do them like tomorrow? They're like, no, we cannot. So I
Wait,
finally settled with a doctor in Florida.
when is this? This is scheduled for January. Wait, when is it scheduled for?
The beginning of December on the 9th. So
Okay.
after that, I think they make you take off, they say like 6 weeks, but I've talked to a lot of girls and they take maybe 3 to 4 weeks off before they start legs again.
Yeah.
So I'm aiming for the 3 weeks.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely.
Mhm.
That's very cool. Okay. So I know that's part of it because I haven't seen very many of the the wellness girls who don't have implants. So
I
um
think it makes it more difficult because we're so lower body dominant. The proportions from the top to bottom, it just throws it off more. So
yeah.
whenever you do have implants, it makes you look more balanced and whatnot. You can obviously do it without the implants. It
Yeah.
just depends on your like preferred look.
Yeah. And you don't want to do it just for bodybuilding either. Like you said, you're just excited about them. So
Yeah. Like you shouldn't get anything just for one aspect of your life. Like if you are okay with it for everything and it'll help you feel more confident or be more open and just live life better, then I think go for it. But don't ever do anything just for bodybuilding.
yeah, it's gonna be, I mean, how long do you, I mean, you're just gonna go, right? You'll compete until you decide it's time to quit.
Absolutely. Like people have asked me that. I'm like, I have no like in plan or when I'm gonna retire. I just want to keep competing until just life leads you to that point, I guess.
Yeah.
I
Sounds
plan on competing for at least the next decade.
Yeah, I think that's a good time span. And also, you know, I think you're going to be one of those people that keeps lifting. Obviously, you love that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, I will not be one of those people that quits bodybuilding and then gets super out of shape. I don't see that happening. I think
Oh,
after bodybuilding, I want to kind of transition more into maybe marathon running and biking, do some ultras. Because there's one ultra marathon in, where is it? It's up in Iceland, and it's like 120 miles. You go through craters and up mountains and stuff. I was talking to my coach about it, and he was like, "Are you nuts? Like, you're just trying to lose all your lower body development. You're trying to get hurt. Like, do you even want to compete next year?" I was like, "Okay, like I'll hold off then."
it sounds like you just have a very adventurous spirit, love life, don't you?
Yeah, it's fun to really push yourself and see what your body can do, and then obviously see the world at the same time. Like, it's a no-brainer for me. Me and
Yeah.
my friend, we actually did a marathon in Paris Disney, and we kept telling each other we're gonna train for it and get ready. And it was like 6 months out, we were like, "Have you ran yet?" I was like, "No, not yet." And then 3 months, they're like, "Have you done anything?" "No." Like, "Let's start next week." And then we got a week out from the marathon, and I called her and I was like, "Okay, so really, have you ran? Have you done anything?" She was like, "No, let's go run a mile today." I was like, "Okay, let's go." And we got to Paris Disney, and it was the most miserable time ever. Like, all these people that looked out of shape were passing me, and I was like, "Oh my gosh, who am I? Who did it like we think we were just jumping into a marathon?"
Did you
So
finish?
oh, I finished. I made sure I finished. I was about to crawl, but I finished. Like, I was like not bending my knees. I was just like, "Okay, Ashton, keep going, keep going." I left my friend, and she got back like 15 minutes after I did.
Yeah.
So it was a struggle the whole time.
What was your time? Do
Don't
you,
even ask me that, because I honestly don't even remember, because it was horrible. It was absolutely horrible.
did you run the whole thing or did you end up walking? You must have walked
No,
some.
no, no. I ran the whole thing, but it was like a really slow jog at some points. But I made sure I ran the whole thing so I could at least say that.
What was the recovery like for that? Like a couple weeks?
At least, because the next day we were supposed to go down to downtown Paris and look at everything and see the what was the building that burnt down? The what was it? I don't know what it was, but I wanted to go see it. My friend was like, "No, my legs hurt too much. I don't want to go." And I was like, "Okay, fine, we'll see it next time." And the next week it burnt down. I was like, "I'm never missing anything ever again."
Oh my word.
But it definitely gave me a lot of respect for marathon runners and other sports, because like I can obviously train for bodybuilding and do the necessary cardio and whatnot for it, but going into other sports, you have to do a completely different kind of style of training. And I didn't realize that before. I thought, like, if you're in shape, you're in shape, you can do whatever. And it's very untrue.
That's
So I knocked that one off my bucket list, and I won't be returning to it for a while.
that's hilarious. Oh my word. You're like, I'm just gonna run a marathon.
Yeah.
Whatever.
God showed me my lesson there. He was like, mm-mm.
That's so great. Hey, I was gonna ask you about your high reps with your training. Are you training to failure? Do you have to, like, if you do 50 reps, do you have to kind of pause to get the like the last set? Do you have to pause to get 50 reps out? Yes.
Right now, I am pausing around like 30, 35, because it just hurts too much and I don't have that much conditioning.
Yeah.
But hopefully, like, the goal is to be able to finish all of them through. Just
That's
kind
what
of
I was
looking
gonna
into it.
ask. Like, did you have to work up to this? And you're probably increasing. Did you just start training like this with the higher reps?
A few weeks ago, yeah, I started retraining, because during my prep for Arizona, I started doing the higher reps, and it helped me a lot conditioning wise.
Yeah.
And then I took a few weeks off, obviously, because I was done with show season and I was just kind of burnt out. I wanted to get my mind back to it and get motivated again for the sport.
Yeah.
And then I started training a few weeks ago, and I started kind of adding those in. I think we're going to do a little bit of the lower rep range as well to build more muscle. Obviously, the high rep does as well, but it's kind of cuts you down a little bit. And I added on some body fat, so I want to kind of lean out and get my middle grounds.
Okay. Yeah, that's interesting. I know when I talked to Karina, because she's she's kind of training for wellness now too. She used to do women's physique.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, that's what she said. She said this is such high reps, a lot of volume. So
Is a lot of the Brazilians, like, you go watch their podcasts or YouTubes, and they just go 50 to 100 reps and they look like they're dying, but it's good. It really pulls apart the muscle fibers and adds the structure you need down there.
Yeah, interesting. A lot of blood into the muscle too.
Oh yes, yeah.
I was going to ask you something else about your diet as well. Oh, is dieting like dieting for prep, is that the hardest part for you? Do you
I would
think?
actually say the reverse diet is the hardest part
Oh,
because coming off the show, it gives you you get kind of in a mental slump because you're used to your in preps body and like being lean and being shredded. And
yeah,
then you get into off season and you don't see the lines as much and you kind of are going backwards, it feels like, but you're actually going forward because you need that. It's just
sure.
kind of it's hard switching your mental over to off season from being lean as you were for prep.
Yeah. I never thought that's absolutely true. That is the hardest part because you finish your goal and now you have to get back to maintenance as soon as possible for the most part.
Absolutely.
And with
It's
that,
hard adding on the body fat and trying to just be like, okay, it's all right, just don't look at it. It's you'll get better.
well, I think that brings up a good point because I have a lot of women who contact me wanting to, they've done weight loss and they want to do a bodybuilding competition.
Mm-hmm.
And, I think it's interesting how they think that they're going to cut for stepping on stage and then maintain that body. Like that's their goal. Right.
That is an awful, awful goal because honestly, it's unhealthy to be that lean year round. Like doing it for the show, it's okay, and you can still just get your health back together after that. Which just being that lean you probably lean for like the 4 to 5 weeks because you add on, even if you do multiple shows, you add on some body fat in between. So it's totally manageable health wise, and you'll be fine. But doing it year round, that just sounds miserable. And it's for women especially, it's bad for your hormones, it's bad for everything.
Yeah. And you are miserable. Like there's such a sacrifice with being that lean. Like you're so tired. You don't do well in the gym.
Mm-hmm.
Day to day, you're just like, want to die.
Not necessarily want to die, but yeah, you get cranky. But the last like 2 weeks, so those are like the hardest, I think, because you're so depleted and you just have to still go to the gym, still do your cardio, but you have to push
Yeah.
through mentally. But it's worth it once you get to the show because you're just like, okay, now I'm done. I can go eat.
Yeah. Were you doing a lot of cardio for your last prep? Or no?
My cardio got up to an hour and a half a day. So I was doing about an hour in the morning and then fasted and then 30 minutes post-workout. So
Okay.
it wasn't horrible because I've heard some majorly bad cardio stories from other people,
Right.
but it just depends on the person too. Because I've seen some girls that just do 30 minutes a day.
Yeah, it depends. I know different people are incorporating steps now too. So they just count their step count. Were you doing like stair climber or were you doing treadmill steady state?
I would switch between treadmill and the Stairmaster because Stairmaster you can do the 1 step or you can switch to 2 steps and you kind of get a booty pump while you're doing it too. And
Okay.
then the Stairmaster, just like whenever I was just not the Stairmaster, the treadmill, I would switch over to that when I just wanted to zone out and not think about anything.
Yeah. Yeah, that
Mhm.
makes a lot of sense. Well, is there anything that you would like to say to women who are listening to the podcast? You just seem to I don't know, you just seem to be like going wherever life takes you, super excited about it. It's
I think it's
awesome.
the best way to do it because a lot of people, they plan and structure every moment, every day, and it's like things in life don't always go as you plan them. And people get frustrated or they get disappointed or depressed because things don't always line up with their set plan and goals. It's like life's not supposed to be that way. I promise you, God won't let it be that way. As soon as you say you're not going to do something or you're going to do like you'd never do this or do that, God's going to put it in your life to where you do that.
Yeah.
But I just tell the girls that, especially for competing for wellness, because I know a lot of women are looking at it now. And a lot of people are already scratching it out because they think they don't have enough lower body development or they just don't fit it, I guess. But every girl can grow into the division. It just depends how determined and how dedicated to the sport you're going to be. So just changing your workout regimen and giving it time to develop, you'll be fine. And you can definitely compete in the wellness division.
Yeah. Very cool. Yeah, you're very go with the flow. I love that. I love that. So you probably
My
don't
life is better that way.
stress out about stuff too much.
No, I try not to.
Yeah.
So like part of my backstory, I had Crohn's and IBS in high school. Like my junior year it started, and I thought I wouldn't be able to compete or do any more sports because it really put like a dip in my track season. And so from that, like I had to be on a bunch of medicine and do all this crazy stuff for it to kind of control it.
Okay.
And one day I was just like fed up with all the medicine because it lowers your immune system a lot. So I was sick almost every single week.
Okay.
So I started looking into more like holistic and just kind of revamping your life to control that stuff. And I changed over my diet. I changed over, like, I guess my mindset, because I was stressed a lot in high school. And once I just let go of the stress and I was just like, okay, just namaste, like it'll all be okay. And I try not to stress like at all now. And it helped a lot with the Crohn's because now I don't take any medicine for it. And I just kind of do holistic stuff, I guess, kind of healthier. And it totally, I guess, revamped my life.
What did you change with your diet to help that? And what
So
were
with
some
my diet,
and what were some of the holistic stuff?
holistic wise, there's a lot of prebiotics and probiotics you can do to help your gut health.
Okay.
So I started incorporating more of those into my diet and then cutting out, because when people have gut issues, it's usually caused by certain foods that kind of upset their body that they don't really accept. I wouldn't say you're allergic to them, but your body doesn't like it. So I
Yeah.
cut out gluten and dairy, because dairy is like one of the worst ones for me. And once I cut those out, I stopped having they call them flare-ups, where your body just kind of revolts against you.
Yeah.
And then I added in more of the prebiotics like beets and there's a whole list of prebiotics, you can Google it, but adding more of those into your diet, and they help with the fiber and the clearing stuff out and just with your digestion overall. Like Revive has what is it, GI plus and glutamine, and they have a greens powder, and both of those, like all of those, have helped me a lot over the prep and everything, because during prep your digestion slows down a lot too. You want to keep it moving, so that helps like tremendously over these last few preps.
Yeah. Yeah, I've heard really great things. That's Matt Jansen's supplement line, is it not?
Yes, it is.
Yeah. Yeah, really great.
All of their products are amazing because they try to stay with the holistic side too. So they don't have any, I'd say, like prescription type stuff. It's all natural and all things you can find like in your environment.
Yeah, very cool. Very cool. Well, do you have time for just a couple more questions?
Yeah, of course.
Okay. So what's the best and the worst thing about social media?
Oh Lord, that's a whole like box of trouble there. The best thing about social media, I would say for me personally, was being able to meet people and connect with other people that I wouldn't normally not meet. Like if they weren't in Texas, I probably wouldn't have met them working out or anything. But I met so many girls, especially wellness wise, from all over the United States and even internationally. We've been able to connect and like encourage each other and kind of share tidbits on training and whatnot and work back and forth with each other.
Yeah.
But the bad side of social media, which everybody doesn't realize, is that, especially with bodybuilding wise, like there's an off season at some point, and most of the girls post their in season pictures, and everybody gets this like mental kind of, I don't know, like mind fuck that you have to be lean year round. And it's like, no, like those girls, I promise you, they have an off season. They have a time when they're not show ready and they don't look that great, which everybody looks great even in off season. It's just like your own personal view. But it kind of messes with a lot of girls. I think that they think they have to be perfect and pretty and lean like year round. And it's like, you don't have to be. Like your off season body is just as pretty. And it's just, yeah. I think more girls need to post their off season pictures too, to show people like, no, I'm not always this lean. But
well, don't you think that like with the evolution of bodybuilding, so I think women are much leaner in all the divisions on stage than they used to be, which means it's a bigger extreme that you can't maintain. And so the off season is going to look even more, fluffy by contrast. You know what I mean? Yeah. Women have to delve into that higher body fat percentage in order to put on that muscle, I think too. So, which is something a lot of women don't want to do, which is why they end up looking the same when they want to look like their favorite, competitive body.
A lot of girls don't embrace the off-season body, and they want to keep doing their cardio like at extreme levels, and they want to keep their food low. And it's like, no, you have to have food to grow. You have to kind of cut back on your cardio so that you can add on the body mass and even the fat percentage, because you need that to put on muscle.
Yeah. Yeah. I think that's a really great message.
Mhm.
What do you think is the best thing that has happened to you getting involved with bodybuilding?
Well, 100%, like the people I've met.
Yeah.
Because outside of bodybuilding, you wouldn't have met any of these people. You don't come to shows and you don't get the camaraderie. You don't make new friends in bodybuilding like you would have outside of it. A lot of the girls that I'm really close friends with now, they live in different states. And so we meet up at shows. Like I had 3 or 4 girls, we did every single show together this year. Not planned or anything, but they just showed up and you're like, oh, hey again. So it was always fun meeting up with everybody and seeing everybody compete and get better and cheering them on.
Yeah.
So that's definitely the best part.
Yeah. It's definitely a family. I think it's definitely a family.
Absolutely. Like people looking from the outside in, they think it's just a bunch of drama and people get catty and it's just competition 24/7 because of how, I guess, the stigma around bodybuilding is like go hard and like you're just like in the gym all the time, and it's not like that.
Yeah, absolutely. What is your biggest gym pet peeve?
Do you want 1 through 5 or the last 10 on the list? I think my top pet peeve during prep, my number 1 pet peeve was people on the Stairmaster. They do all this goofy stuff. They'll like walk sideways, they'll walk backwards, they're doing all these kicks, or they'll be like, they'll put all their body weight leaning forward. I'm like, just walk on the Stairmaster, just do it, just normal. That one. And then people that like overly grunt in the gym and they're not even, it's just like, okay, that's not necessary. Calm down a little bit. Like I can hear you through my headphones. That's obviously too much.
That's funny. I never thought about that. I always hate when people, it's like you could go slower on the treadmill or on any of the cardio machines. If you're leaning on it or you're hanging on, like,
yes, like if you're leaning or hanging on, you're taking the weight off of your body and it's not going to be as, how do you say it? Like as beneficial to you.
yeah. Yeah. So funny.
That's
But
Instagram that does that to people. They think all these weird little side steps and backward steps, it's helping them more. And it's like, it's not. I promise you, just do it normal.
right. Save it for your workout.
Uh-huh.
Probably better off. So what would your theme song be if a song played every time you walked into the room?
Oh no, I don't know. I'm honestly bad with song titles. Like I'm not somebody that remembers all that. So we'll come back to this one. I'll look one up.
What kind of music do you listen to when you go into the gym, or do you not listen to anything?
No, I do. I like more of like the pop and rock music, like where it's high beat, but it's also kind of like, I like the lyrics to be kind of inspirational too.
Yeah, absolutely. Very
Motivate you like during the workout.
very cool. What is something that few people know about you? Any secrets?
There really aren't any secrets. Like a lot of people don't know that I'm a flight attendant and that I'm doing flight school,
Yeah.
but because I don't really post that as much on social media, but some people know. And honestly, I'm pretty like open with everything. Like I'm really close with my family. I like to spend time with my family most of the time, like when I'm not flying. And then in between training, that's really like my life is just flying and traveling and then working out and spending time with my family.
What got you interested in like flight school and being a pilot? What was that inspiration?
So becoming a flight attendant, like you get to see the world and the schedule is super flexible. So one day whenever I have a family, like I can do whatever I want with the schedule and move stuff around. And like the pilots have the exact same schedule. And I did what do you call it? Like it's like your test flight to see if you like it or not and if you would enjoy it. I did that and I just like fell in love with it. And so it'd be close to the same schedule as a flight attendant. You can move it around and you still get to travel and see the world. So I was just sold after the test flight.
So are you going to have a huge family someday too?
Hopefully. I want like 5, but people look at me like I'm crazy when I say I want 5 kids. I just think the more kids you have, the more personality you have within your family. And the more just, I don't know, my family, I love having so many siblings because you always have somebody to hang out with. You always have somebody to go do something with and just helping them. And it's just a back and forth. You grow with your family as they age, and I don't know, I love it.
Yeah. That's very cool. Always somebody. You always have somebody. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Um, what do you have any pets, or what would be your dream pet?
So I had a pet pig,
Oh, you
and I had weird animals, and I had 3, what are they called? Oh gosh, brain fart, but 3, what are those the long, like slinky
ferrets.
little ferrets? Yes, ferrets. I had 3 ferrets, and I've had a lot of pets, but right now I don't have any pets, and I probably won't get any for a while because my schedule is so busy.
Yeah.
So just kind of laying off the animals for now. I just
Yeah.
want a cat at some point. I want to go back to like normal basic animals, because I had a rescue raccoon once, and then I had a rescued chicken. So everything just like calm down on the animals right now, Ashton.
I didn't know they had rescue chickens.
Yeah, there was they were gonna get rid of her at the feed store because she just kept getting trampled on by all the little chicks, and she was kind of malnourished compared to everybody else. I was like, no, don't get rid of her. Like, I'll take her. So we made her better. And then she's out on my aunt's, what do you call it? Chicken farm now. So
Yeah. Yeah. Chickens are actually great pets.
they are. Like, I
Yeah.
had a harness and a leash for her and everything. She'd go on walks with me. I'm showing my weird side now, but yeah, she was
No,
cute.
super. My daughter has a little bantam rooster, so he's real tiny, and he comes
Aw.
when she calls, and he'll
Yeah,
sit
they're
on.
actually smart.
Yeah, he sits on her lap when she's doing homework, and yeah,
You
they're
wouldn't think a chicken would be like cuddly, but they're cuddly.
yeah, they're great. They're great pets. Would you rather hike a mountain or swim in an oasis? Oh,
I probably want to do both, like do half and half, but I probably do the mountain because you get to the top point and you get to see the pretty scenery.
yeah. Is that something that you have done yet?
Hiking, I haven't done anything crazy, but when I go to Hawaii or we go to like Oregon, like on layovers and stuff, we always go and hike something. My friend, she lives out in Hawaii, so I go to Hawaii a lot, and Hawaii is just full of hikes and mountains and stuff you can do.
Yeah, very cool. Very cool. What is your favorite cheat meal?
Can I just say food in general? Like, I love all food. My favorite would probably be sushi. I know that's basic for bodybuilders, but I just love sushi. And it's
Yeah,
not really that bad, so you don't feel as guilty after eating it.
yeah.
Yeah.
Or sick, like it doesn't make you feel awful.
It's still like healthy and good for you.
Yeah, yeah. Are you still eating like gluten-free and dairy-free?
So as long as I don't do like overboard on it, like after I kind of cut them out for a while, it's okay now. I still try to avoid dairy because that still upsets my stomach, but bread I'll do every once in and out, like every once in a while.
Yeah, I got you. I got you. Um, so who would you like to see interviewed next on the podcast? Anybody that inspires you or that you look up to?
I would love if you could get Francielle on the podcast. She won the Wellness Olympia,
Yeah,
and she has been like my idol in wellness since forever. Like even before I considered doing wellness, I was following her over in Brazil, and she's just amazing. She's just like, even from a personal level, she's very family oriented. She's super sweet, super nice,
yeah.
and she's just like the perfect person for a younger audience to idolize.
Awesome. Awesome. Well, I will reach out to her and see if that's something that she's willing to
My
do.
fingers are crossed.
You're so sweet. Well, thank you so much for your time. So are you off today to what are you training today? What is it, Thursday?
Thursday. I think I might take an off day today because I just got back from all the trips. So I kind of want to just decompress and whatnot. And then I leave for the Texas State Pro tomorrow to go hang out down there and help with some of the media.
Okay. Well, I was going to ask you, with all your traveling, how do you manage to stay on track with training, and do jet lag? Do you ever get jet lag?
The jet lag isn't as bad now that I've been flying for so long, but it kicks your butt sometimes. But
Okay.
you just have to be determined and remember what your goals are. Like with flight attendanting, however you say it, you're not going to always have the same schedule. You're not going to be able to go in the gym at the same time every day. So whenever you do finally get in, just remember that you have to hit this goal. You have to do this to be able to accomplish what you want to.
Yeah.
So
I think
just
it's
being
important.
flexible with it.
it's a great message for anyone who's trying to do it, who doesn't have a structured schedule, that you can do it. You just have to make time for the things that are going to get you to your goals.
I've heard a lot of people, they say like, I don't know how you do it with training at like nighttime to morning time. And it's like, as long as you hit your workout, you're fine. You'll be okay.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. Very cool. All right. Well, Ashton, where can they find you if people are looking for you?
My Instagram is a lucky penny, and it's not like the normal penny. It has an EY at the end, like my last name. And then Facebook, it's just Ashton Penney, but mostly Instagram.
Okay. All right. Very cool. All right. Thanks everybody for listening, watching to another episode of the Women's Fittest. You can find us on Instagram at the Women's Fittest. You can find me on Instagram at buffcake22. And remember that healthy looks different on everybody. Have a great day.